You've joined over here. I'm going to get you on our Instagram. Good morning. Good Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern. I am Natascha Corrigan, soon to be joined by Alegre Ramos, and together we are Beyond Your Wildest Dreams, or BYWD. Hello and hi, and welcome to our Thursday weekly chat, where we just kind of check in and say what's going on with us, and love to hear from you what's going on with you on your planning journey. And we are in the thick of it, girl. We just got through like the first big holiday season milestone, right? It was Tuesday, right?
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Rock your holidays, then this is like smooth sailing season for you. Right.
Right.
You still have time. Still have time to grab that book and get going with planning out the next 2+ months and making it so that it's not super stressful, right? So that you really get to have all the things and all the magic for you as well as your family. Miss out on the things and you start culling the stuff that doesn't matter.
Yes, absolutely. And by the way, I just want to ask, how is my audio on Instagram? Because I'm using a different headpiece thing.
Oh, I don't hear you on that. I'm in this. I don't hear you on Instagram. Hold on. Let me mute you on the other one and then have you talk. Okay.
It's modern age technical stuff.
Yeah, this is weird.
So
hearing you and I hear you.
Okay.
I
wonderful.
just don't. There you go. I hear you. I hear you just fine. Okay, good. Yay. Thanks for being with us on our technical journey, y'all.
Exactly. So we are here. It is 2 days post Thanksgiving, post Halloween, and it's so funny.
Yeah, not post Thanksgiving yet.
No, and it's funny because my husband woke up yesterday and said, "Okay, now Thanksgiving." Like it feels like a hurdle race, right? It's like, okay, we cleared one hurdle,
right?
And they're fun hurdles. But it's funny because one of the things is that if you've listened to us talk before, you might have heard that I'm not super into outdoor decorations. I like decorating inside the house, but my husband is in charge of outdoor decorations. And this year, indoor decorations happened, outdoor decorations did not happen. However, my indoor decorations are basically autumnal. So they're pumpkins. And my husband's like, okay, well, Thanksgiving. I was like, we're already decorated because I'm all about the autumnal decoration. So it just gets to flow into November. Right. You know,
we have a few things. Like I definitely have pumpkin is like my base and then spooky on top. So it's more of like removing stuff right now. Right. And then I have a friend who posted that she like on November 1st at 5 a.m. she has like these little slippers on that say Merry and Bright. She's like, the Halloween decorations are down. She's like, she spent like all before she went to bed on Halloween and just took all the Halloween.
Oh my gosh. I know there's totally those people. That's amazing. I see the difference on my street between the people who are leaving it up for the next 2 weeks and the people who like took it down October 31st. Hi, Gabby. Yeah, totally. Oh my gosh. A friend of mine
Hi, Gabby.
From 8th grade.
Oh my goodness.
Good to see you. So and then my whole October season besides Halloween has been taken up with the fact that I was doing this comedy contest.
Right. How'd it go last night?
So my set has improved. And for me, that is always a win because
huge.
I love words and I love puzzle. And for me, comedy is the ultimate word puzzle. And so I actually figured out some puzzle pieces that I hadn't figured out before. It's amazing how many times you have to tell a joke to figure it out. You're like, oh, wait, there we go. Yay. Now it locks in piece, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And oh, Gabby said she had meant to come last night. Oh, well, so it went well. I got a lot of kudos, but so I did not place. Which
gotcha. Well, that's just because the audience was stacked, I'm sure.
Well, I think there might have been a little bit of, because it's popular vote, you can actually tank other popular comics.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
anyway, I'm not going to go any further than that.
Right.
So, but I'm just going to say that I was really happy with my performance, and
Yay.
I look for, and hey, I feel like it's just the beginning of November, and I feel like I can really check off the goal of like making progress on stand-up comedy. Like,
seriously, yeah, you have crushed it, girl. That's awesome. I wish I could have made it last night too. I would have obviously been a vote for you. Yeah, and it is
and it was
super
an
like you
audience of
hear
like
about.
200 people, so it was a
Oh,
it
wow,
was
that's a huge
yeah,
room.
it was one of the I think it's only maybe the second largest. I did do the improv at one point, and that was a pretty big room, but this is, I would say, the
Yeah,
next biggest room. Mm-hmm.
fantastic. Good for you. I know it's so funny. You always hear like people like Seinfeld or people who've been doing it, for decades and decades, that they go to these small clubs and work on their material, right? It's not just like, oh, well, Seinfeld's funny, so he could just go into a huge, go on tour and go into a huge
Right.
theater and just crush it. No, they've got to work it. Like you said, you got to work it. You're like, there's a funnier way to do this. There's a
Yes,
funnier way to
yes,
do this, right?
yes.
And you figure it out. And sometimes in your own room, at your computer or whatever, you may have no idea how that lands, right? Until you're out there.
Yeah, and just really just and oh, thank you, Gabby. Thank you. Thank you. That's so sweet. I can't seem to heart your comment, but thank you so much for those kind words. She said, "So glad you went for it. Proud of you." Thank you so much.
Yes, amazing.
Yeah,
Seriously,
I'm really happy.
super proud.
And the other thing too is that competition, and I really believe this, I am a competitive person, but I am competitive with myself. I just want to see myself getting better. Like, I'm old enough now that I have truly learned the meaning of doing your best is the best reward. Like, you can never control 100%. The outcome. All you can control is yourself getting better. And trust me, there were a lot of tears involved in learning that lesson. So if you can really learn that lesson, if you can feel what it is to overcome your personal hurdles, like, it is so blissful and so much better than any award you can
way
earn.
More rewarding. Plus, something like comedy is so subjective. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's yes. I mean, how can you be like, she's the best? You know what I mean? Like, I don't,
No,
plus,
there's just like,
like you said, popular vote. Yeah.
Yes.
Plus popular vote. So
yeah,
as we know from competitions like The Voice and American Idol,
or from politics,
not like always,
right?
Or politics, right? It's not always the best person who wins, or like what I would deem the best. As a vocal coach, I have my opinions, but
there's also this whole, and you hear it all the time, like, don't split the vote by having too many, right? I mean, it was a huge field, and so there was a lot of opportunity for splitting the vote. There were like 17 comics. So,
oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it was huge.
But listen, you made it. That was like the third round too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So A, you made it to the third round, and B, like you said, you're it's getting funnier and tighter.
Yeah.
That's the best possible outcome.
Well, and my point was just that I have found that competitions force me to prepare more than I would. Like, I will rehearse and rehearse and rehearse and rehearse in a way that I just don't rehearse as much when I don't have something that is forcing me to improve. So, I do think you can do a lot of sharpening. I mean, if you've developed your ear enough, I do think you can do a lot of sharpening in your own room. The question is, are you going to practice it 20 or 30 times in the comfort of your own room if you don't have an audience to get in front of later? And so I do think that makes a big difference. So anyway, yay!
Congrats. Honestly, it's a huge milestone. And this is something that Allegra chose earlier in the year, right? Chose the end of last year that she was going to do. And so what she's demonstrating for all of you right now is life design, right? Is what we talk about and what we work and what we teach and what we encourage you and coach you into doing, which is our Harness the Power of Planning course, which, lucky for you, comes up in January 20th and 27th. It's a 2-day course, 2 Saturdays. Day 1 is about excavating your dreams. Maybe you want to do stand-up. And day 2 is about executing on them. How do you get to being in a competition, blah, blah, blah. How do you get to seeing that dream realized? Not just I hope someday I will go do stand-up, right? Or someday to have a goal to do stand-up. Great. We've had that goal for 5 years now, right? So now the execution. So Allegra is a perfect example right now. She's demonstrating to us all how designing it and following through and doing course correction and is it easy and perfect? And does it, as soon as you write it down, like, does that make it so? No, right? You gotta find the different ways to make it happen on the daily and so forth. And this is a fantastic example. Right
and I think too, it's another example of like, you also don't have like, we've talked about Ikigai before. If you haven't seen our Ikigai chat, it was a few weeks ago. Look for our Ikigai chat, and that's spelled Ikigai. And my Ikigai, Venn diagram, BYW Dreams is absolutely smack in the middle. It is my perfect Ikigai. And Ikigai is Japanese for like a reason for living. However, there are things that I can do in stand-up, obviously, that I can't do in BYW Dreams. And stand-up is like just off to the side of my Ikigai. Like, it's not as perfect, but it's pretty darn close. And, like, I think a lot of people feel like, well, if I'm not going to like be a professional singer, actor, like, why even bother spending the time? And it's like, because you have an interest, have an interest. That's why you should spend the time. That's all.
Absolutely. That's all. I think that there's like, so I'm going to get on a soapbox here for a hot second. I think there's like so much focus and pressure on monetizing your hobbies or monetizing, what it is that you do. And it's like, I've talked this before, like I love doing my kids' birthdays and celebrations, although that's calmed down a little bit when they were younger, though I loved like making all the favors and doing all the decorations, and people always be like, you should be a party planner. And like that would suck all the joy out of it for me. Plus, I don't think I could, like if you looked really close at my cakes, they would be like, I couldn't charge somebody for that. Right. You know what I mean? So, so the idea of having
and you don't want the stress of having to be that perfect with it, right?
Right. It's just not, that's not fun for me, right? What's fun for me is kind of like, being creative and putting it together, and it's perfectly imperfect, and having a good old time. So the idea, and, like 100 years ago, people would just have hobbies, right? They'd be like, I'm woodworking or whatever it is. And there are studies that show that like people who have hobbies that interest them and so forth, generally have more fulfilling, happier lives, they say, and sometimes even longer lives because of their interest outside of, their vocation, so.
And the connections you make too, like the other woodworkers that you can chat with that
100%
get you in a different way.
Right. And it keeps you engaged mentally, interest, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so it's not about, whether or not you want to get like Kevin Hart level of comedy, famous, is not necessarily that maybe your goal, but like you said, you're doing it because you like it, you're interested in it, and it's fun for you. Although sometimes I'm sure stressful.
Well, especially so Natascha, knows my whole life. She knows the behind the scenes. So we'll just say the fact that, there's Halloween, and then I'm doing this comedy contest. And then to top it all off, I was on jury duty, and I was actively on a case. So it was like
in a legit case too. This wasn't like a shoplifting thing. This was like a legit
case. And so the combination of those three definitely made for it's a good thing I'm a planner. Did I do everything I usually do during those 2 weeks? No, like I did not. I kept up with my basic exercise. Like I would say I have this baseline exercise, and then like I do these like 2 or 3 days during the week when I pump it up, right? I did not get to do my pump it ups. And part of that was me, and part of that was also that the people that I usually pump it up with have had some injuries. So I was like, oh, yet another reason to sleep in, because I have no one else to do it with.
No one to, that's motivating, right?
Yeah.
But like again, you're just like a walking BYWD commercial today, because you really are, because what you're talking about is your daily rituals, your daily habits, your daily your morning routine. I'm sure to some degree was still kept in place, right? And so the things I see, you're drinking your green drink right now, like those things help. So even though you got jury duty and a contest and all these other things going on that are not normal, but you kept the reality or the normalcy of your routines.
Yeah.
That changes everything. That makes it so that it really does, it doesn't change everything. You have a baseline at least, right? Yes. So even when your extra exercise goes out the window, at least you still have maintained. It doesn't go completely out the window. And you know how that is when you just abandon a exercise routine or a healthy eating habit, and then how much harder it is to get back into the groove of that, you know?
No, I mean, I brought my salad every day to jury duty. I, got my baseline exercise. Fortunately, sleep wasn't an issue because court is always excused by 10:30, by 4:30. So, I was able to get to bed early and all that. But no, I mean, it's so I once read this article about this mom whose adult son was diagnosed with cancer, and she realized that she was going to have to be pristine with her self-care so that she could show up for him. So she was like, extra, like perfect nutrition, perfect sleep, perfect, de-stressing herself so that she could show up for him and help him in all the things he needed. And
right. That's the ultimate display of putting that oxygen mask on first, right?
Absolutely. So so definitely that served me really well. I was like, why is the comedy contest happening now? Why is it all, and
why now?
I guess it's happening now, so I can be a BYWD commercial this week.
And it's awesome.
And if this is your first time watching our live, you might be watching it on the recording. We are happy to answer questions at any time. Feel free to drop them in the comments. We will be notified and we'll answer them later on. But we do have some very exciting news, which is we have 3 LA-based workshops of our best-selling book, 3-2-1 Done, 3 simple steps to get your to-do list done. And what 3-2-1 Done is all about is if you've ever looked at your to-do list, personal or professional, and thought to yourself, I just don't even know where to start. This is what that book is for.
This is what it is.
We are going to give you a framework. And from now on, every time you look at a to-do list, you will know exactly where to start. It is such a big mind shift. No matter where you are in your productivity journey, there's an aha moment in one of these 3 tips. And we know because we've spoken about this with other productivity experts, and inevitably one of them will be like, oh my God, yes, that.
And the thing is too, like, that I want to just say, like, come in person. If you can make it, if you're in the Southern California area, come in person. It makes such a big difference, but you can join us virtually too. So either one is fine. You of course can always get our workbook. You can always do this on your own, but there is something about obviously engaging it live that makes a huge difference. And
it's a Saturday, the first one. Sunday. 11/5.
Sunday. Yeah, it's Sunday. I was like, wait, what? I was like, I thought it was Sunday. Yeah. Sunday. I was like, whoa. So the other thing too is that we call it 3 simple strategies to get your to-do list done. We talk about the 3 mistakes, like Alegre just talked about, but there are 3 very core strategies, but there's also lots of little hints as well, like other little bonus tips and things like that really help. So it is those 3 core strategies, but then like lots of little things on top of that make a huge difference.
Yeah, and actually it's funny because we do give, great little bonus tips. And I have to say, I feel like we gave some zinger bonus tips in Rock Your Holidays. So even though this is about the holidays, first of all, you'll still be able to use it right now, and it'll help you, especially because maybe you celebrate Lunar New Year or Persian New Year or 3 Kings Day, right? So your holidays are going to be going beyond December. Rock Your Holidays is going to help you no matter where you are in your holiday planning, but we have some amazing bonus tips in here that are going to help you no matter what time of the year it is. And, as Natascha's pointed out, sometimes the best time to go through a book like this is after the holidays, when you can kind of
so huge, honestly. Moratorium.
Yourself,
yeah.
Right.
We just, my husband's job, they do a huge Halloween event, and on Halloween, he was telling me, like, I wish we'd done this. Fantastic. Awesome.
Wait. I want to hear an Ursula voice. So Natascha was Ursula for this huge event. Can I hear her Ursula voice, please?
Well, it won't cost much, just your voice. That, what's funny is that we did it. It was a track because the majority of the people working so it was a pre-recorded track that we were lip syncing to, and I did voice the Wicked Queen from Snow White and some other stuff. But for Ursula, we used Disney, we used Melissa McCarthy, because and my son edited it all together. So it's like one long, about 5-minute track. So the walkthrough was 5 minutes. And when you went from room to room, it was all pre-recorded, because the majority of my husband's employees are not actors. So like they were like, wait, learn lines, wait, project over music, right? So we just pre-recorded everything. And we did all different, the family did all different voices and stuff, although we did pull a few things, and one of the ones they did pull was Ursula. But I had so much fun lip syncing to that and just being like, and the way that it was lit, it was like underlit, so I looked really evil. It was awesome. So on when I was driving home, he and I were talking on the phone, and he was telling me what he would have changed, what he would do different, and I was like, save this for tomorrow, sit down with your coordinators and just do a moratorium, make a list for next year, the things that you'd like to change differently. And also, one of the things, they didn't have a staff meeting like a week before that they normally do, and I was like, make sure you put that in the calendar, you know what I mean, put that in the calendar for. And it also, they do a huge winter holiday thing coming up too. And he's like, so, and this is, Allegra knows, I tell this all the time, every time we go camping, I use a camping list that I print out. Right. I just quickly go through it and go like, oh, we don't need that anymore. And you know what? We forgot this. And I add that on there, and it just makes the hugest difference that you don't, so sometimes, I go 4 or 5 months between camping trips, there's no way I'm going to remember, oh yeah, I should bring extra duct tape.
Yeah, you need to do it when it's fresh.
Camping. You should always have duct tape. Just cheers to that.
Duct tape, magnets, and bungee cords. Yeah. Those make the camping world go round.
Yeah.
No, it's great to do a moratorium. So helpful. And so it's
like a course correct. It's a very specific course correct.
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything was wrong. It's just, how can I make it even better and easier for myself next time around? So so Rock Your Holidays and 3, 2, 1 Done right now are available. The ebooks are only 99 cents. So there's no reason not to get them. And hey, maybe get the book and then go through it with us on the workshop if you have questions.
Right.
Just a great way to increase your learning. That's called actually spaced repetitious learning, which is something that we talk about in our Rock Your Holidays in Harness the Power of Planning course. Is all about the benefits of spaced repetitious learning, because you don't learn everything. You don't learn 100% the first time. You don't even learn 100% the second time. You have to review at regular intervals to get as much as you can. And so 3, 2, 1 Done. You don't have to review that many times. It's not that much content, right? Like with Harness the Power of Planning, we ask our students, you might want to review it like 4 or 5 times. Just because there's so much to learn.
Right.
This you could get pretty quickly, especially if you start implementing it right away.
Exactly. As I was going to say, once you start using it, and then that's it.
Yeah, because your brain makes the connections. You're like, oh, bing, 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 bing. You see, and trust us, like Natascha and I are the planners in our families. My husband is not a planner. Natascha's husband is not a planner, but they are slowly learning the skill of planning because they've seen the benefits of it. Like my husband, he used to be like, those cartoons where like they drag the cat and the cat scratches down like, no, I don't want to go. Right. That was my husband when it came to our weekly meeting where we would talk about our calendars. It was like, I would rather do my taxes than talk planning.
Yeah.
But then he saw how much smoother the weeks were when we did the planning versus not. And he now will say like, okay, let's sit down. Let's talk about this week. What's going on? So as soon as you start seeing the benefits, it becomes you enter the reward cycle, right? We talk about habits and rewards and how that's what makes something a habit is because you're getting a little reward. He gets the reward of, oh my God, my life is so much easier. And we bicker so much less because we know what's happening. That's a reward.
100%.
So,
100%.
Oh my gosh, Bill Cockrum, are you really here on Instagram? This is one of my professors from business school. Hello. So nice to see you.
Hi, Mr.
Actually,
hi, Professor Bill.
Bill has read 3, 2, 1 Done. He actually, he actually sent me a thank you note about it and said that he thought it was a really smart read. Guess what, Professor Bill? We have 4 books now, all these short reads, all about productivity.
Oh, they look so cute when you have them all together like
I
that.
know. They're so beautifully colorful. And hey, y'all, they make great gifts. They're perfect size for stuffing in a stocking. And who doesn't need the gift of time? I mean, really, when you're giving our books That's what you're giving someone. The gift of time, the gift of making things mentally easier to do. Who doesn't need more of that? So
yeah, for real.
And look how pretty they are all together, all color coordinated.
They're really cute.
Which I have a video I need to make, because the place where we are holding this workshop this Sunday, Composed Living. First of all, it's just a cool place to come out to in Woodland Hills. If you haven't been to Composed Living, it's in the Valley Country Mart. Super cute. There is a bakery there that Natascha and I are going to be going to.
Yes, you've informed me.
Because they have cinnamon rolls the size of your head.
I'm in.
Who doesn't need a cinnamon roll the size of your head?
Nobody needs that, but we need that.
And Composed Living is a great place. It's owned by professional organizer Elsa Elbert. And basically, first of all, she's like, just shows you ways to get organized. She does have products available. She's all about sustainability. So like, for instance, I actually bought a book that I had read once a long time ago, a productivity book that I'd read once a long time ago, but I didn't have a physical copy of it. I bought a used copy of it for like, I don't know, $5 or something. So there's a lot of sustainability in what she does, which, you know, is so close to my heart. And
and besides that store is just like, you walk in there and you really do, it's just like peaceful.
Yeah.
Right. Isn't
it
just like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So come on out to see Composed Living, learn something with us. Oh, and also for in person, if you're coming in person, we have a 2-for-1 special. So if you're coming in person, you can bring a friend and share the cost. And we don't have a lot of spots left. I think there's like 5 spots left or 4 spots left or something like that. But
it's dwindling down.
Yes.
But yes, absolutely. Follow them. I just put their IG. If you're watching us on Instagram, follow them on Instagram. You'll see all about our workshop coming up, you can register there. You can also register by following the link in our bio too, to the link tree. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you can pop on over to our Instagram at bywdreams.com.
Yes.
And find the link there, or you can just go straight to our website, bywdreams.com.
So thank you so much for having us. We love seeing you here on Thursdays at 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 Eastern. We will be here next Thursday to chat about all things planning, productivity, and holidays, because we are in that season.
Yes, we are. All right. See you all Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. This will end.